why did people decide to settle in such a place at the beginning? And the second, how comes that this region became the center of complicated horlogery in Switzerland, so in the world? And what we rediscover kind of is that the first people who decided to settle there were people that were extremely independent minded. They didn't want it to live under the rule of the King of France or the Duke of Savoy or someone like that. So they decided to emigrate into a region that was quite hostile, if I may say so, in order to be able to live freely, rather than stay in a place that would be much more comfortable, but where they will have to obey to the rules to someone else. And the big problem for those people was to find a way to make a living, because there were, as you can see on these images, nearly no resources in the Val des Jours. The only thing that we have plenty of are rocks, dark forests, and long winters. And what happened actually is that they discovered that among those rocks, some were a little bit special because they had a tiny quantity of rust. So using the wood from the forests to feed their furnace, they've been able to extract this rust and transform it into iron. And then they used the second resource that they had plenty of, which was snow, because when you have snow for, I don't know, 8 months per year, then you have a lot of time. So that's the reason why instead of making simple objects, they started to make mechanism, things that had a high added value. And with this time, all this time that they had, they started to make very complicated mechanism. And when it comes to watches, it was not simple watches with 2 hands, but they started to develop additional mechanism. They took their inspiration from instance from the motion of the moon around the earth, or the earth around the sun, and they replicate that into small mechanism like this one, which is a perpetual calendar. And the perpetual calendar is a mechanism which indicates not only the time, but also the day, the week, the month, the year, and it takes into account the leap year. That is something that is extremely complex and extremely difficult to put in a volume as small as this one, but that's the kind of thing that they started to develop. So it means that because of those constraints, which were that they had only 2 resources, a tiny quantity of rust and a large quantity of time, that eventually they started to develop those mechanisms. And you could say that basically it's because they've been able to do that, that they were able to get the necessary resources to live there. So you could say that watchmaking for them was the way they found to live independently and to live freely. And that's something that is very important for us, for our company. We want to continue the tradition which allow our forebears to live freely, to have a good life in a region that normally would be rather hostile. And from what we've learned from our parents, grandparents, something like that, is that the company does not belong to us, to the shareholders. It belongs to the people that are working in the company, that it belongs to the family, that it belongs to the Vallée des Jours, and that what we have to do is our best. So when the day will come, we'll be able to transmit it to the next generation. Which my grandchildren will think about the decision that I'm about to take in 50 years. We always try to build this bridge between the past and the future. It's between 6 to 9 months for one watchmaker to make such a watch. So if you take also into account the fact that it takes many years to reach the level of skills which is necessary to start making such watches, it means that the watchmaker will maybe be able to make, I don't know, maybe 20 or 25 of those watches during his whole life as a watchmaker. So it means that each of this watch has a little bit of the life of this watchmaker. Because when you spend 9 months on a watch, a lot of things will happen during your life, and every day, then you come back to work, you have this emotion that you went through that is kind of put into the watch. And that's one of the reasons why I also think that today you could see that complicated watches, beautiful watches are quite close to art pieces.